another video. This one gonna be a pretty good one. This kind of demonstrating and showing what the potential is. You're gonna need to know how to do your interview. This is gonna be a GRC Analyst mock interview, and it's pretty realistic. This is one of the projects I did in the 40 Agentic AI Projects of 40 days and 40 nights. So definitely check this out. I'm gonna have the app I made talk to another app. So it's gonna be gonna be two AIs talking to each other doing a simulated mock interview. And this is really what a real live GRC analyst interview sounds like. You're gonna get these kind of questions. I made the senior AI person that's interviewing, I made them kind of script where if you're talking and you're saying too much, or if you're saying certain things and too many pauses, you give them enough time to kind of interrupt you. So I kind of made it that the AI kind of interrupts sometimes. So don't be startled. And this happens in real interviews. People interrupt you. The person interviewed, they will interrupt you or ask you to explain deeper or cut you off and stuff like this. So don't be startled or freeze up when that stuff happens. This app, it helps you get ready for that, and it helps you understand that process and what to do and how to handle it and what they're looking for. And so this gonna be a pretty good one. You definitely want to listen to this on the free time. You can kind of use as your podcast, listen to while you go driving up and down the road, however you want to do it. And like I said, you can also play with the apps because you'll have the source code. If you haven't already, go pick that source code up at Agentic AI Trade School. You get all the other 39 source codes too. Source codes, the new currency, people. Let's go. Dark interview.
All right, let's do it. I'm ready. Great. Go ahead with your first question whenever you're ready, and I'll jump right in as the candidate. Let's make this as realistic and insightful as possible.
Let's get started. Tell me about your experience in GRC, specifically with frameworks like NIST CSF and ISO 27001. And when you discuss your role, were you primarily focused on compliance or actually designing and implementing controls? Be specific about your day-to-day responsibilities.
Absolutely. In my previous role, I worked extensively with both in ISO
Ex-
27001 frameworks. My responsibilities included not only ensuring compliance, but also actively designing and implementing controls on a day-to-day basis. I would conduct risk assessments, map existing controls to the framework requirements, and collaborate with various departments to implement necessary security measures. I also handled continuous monitoring, updated policies, and provided training sessions to ensure everyone understood and followed the controls. It was a blend of compliance oversight and hands-on implementation.
Extensively is vague. What specific implementation work did you do? Can you give me a concrete example of a control you designed and implemented, maybe related to secure software development or access control? And what framework were you working with then? Compliance is table stakes. I need to understand your real impact.
Absolutely, I understand. For example, when working with the NIST cybersecurity framework, I led the implementation of a secure software development lifecycle (SDLC) process. This involved integrating security checkpoints at every stage of development. For instance, I designed and implemented automated static code analysis tools that scan for vulnerabilities during the coding phase. Additionally, I established strict access controls for development environments, ensuring that only authorized personnel could access sensitive code repositories. This initiative not only strengthened our security posture, but also aligned perfectly with the NIST standards. It was a hands-on, impactful project that really showcased my ability to design and implement meaningful controls.
Good. Now, how did you validate that the static code analysis was effective? Was it just about checking the box, or were you actually reducing the number of vulnerabilities in the production code? And what metrics did you track to show that?
Great question. It was definitely more than just checking a box. To validate effectiveness, we track several metrics. For instance, we monitor the number of vulnerabilities detected during the development phase versus those found in production. Over time, we saw a significant decrease in production vulnerabilities, which indicated that our early detection and remediation were effective. We also track the time taken to resolve issues and the reduction in repeat vulnerabilities. Additionally, we had regular code quality reviews and feedback loops with developers to ensure continuous improvement. All these metrics together demonstrated that we were genuinely reducing risk and not just going through the motions.
Okay, you tracked metrics. How did you communicate the results of this initiative to stakeholders and executives? And what was their reaction? Did they accept the remaining risk, or did they push for more controls?
Absolutely. To communicate the results, I prepared regular reports and dashboards that highlighted key metrics, trends, and improvements. I also held quarterly briefings with stakeholders and executives where I presented not just the quantitative results, but also contextual insights. For instance, I would show how the reduction of vulnerabilities directly correlated with fewer security incidents and lower remediation costs. In terms of reaction, generally executives were quite supportive, especially since we could clearly demonstrate the ROI of our security investments. However, if there were any residual risks, we have collaborative discussions on whether additional controls were needed. In some cases, we did implement further measures, but the overall approach was very much about balancing risk and business needs.
Let's switch gears a bit. Imagine your company relies heavily on a third-party SaaS vendor for a critical service. What's your immediate risk assessment process for that? And what key questions would you ask the vendor? Don't just tell me you'd check their SOC 2 status. I want specific control domains you'd focus on.
Absolutely. When assessing a third-party SaaS vendor, my immediate risk assessment would begin with a thorough due diligence process. I focus on several key control domains, such as data security, privacy, and incident response. For example, I'd look into their data encryption practices, both at rest and in transit, and how they handle data segmentation. I'd also inquire about their access controls, like how they manage user permissions and
Access controls?
authenticate.
Sure. But did they implement MFA, or is it just single sign-on? And what about their incident response plan? What specific details would you need to see to be confident they can handle a breach effectively? And how would you test their claims?
Absolutely, those are crucial details. For access controls, I definitely want to confirm that they have multi-factor authentication in place, not just single sign-on, and that they enforce it for all critical access points. As for their incident response plan, I'd want to see a detailed, well-documented procedure that outlines how they detect, contain, and remediate breaches. This should include their communication protocols, timelines for notification, and how they coordinate with external partners like law enforcement or forensic teams. To test their claims, I conduct tabletop exercises and simulated breach scenarios to see how quickly and effectively they respond. We could also review their incident logs.
You
and
need to go
conduct
deeper.
interviews of their response
MFA
team.
is expected,
Fair.
but how is it enforced across all relevant systems? And what happens if a contractor doesn't comply? And regarding incident response, what are their SLAs for notification to customers? And do they conduct regular penetration tests? And what are the findings? Generic answers aren't enough in a real scenario like this. You need to understand the specific risks.
Absolutely. Those specifics are essential. For enforcing MFA, I'd want to confirm that it's mandated for every critical system and that they have automated enforcement mechanisms in place so that any attempt to bypass it is blocked. If a contractor doesn't comply, there should be a clear protocol such as the immediate access verification, the review of their access history, and potentially even a compliance escalation process. Regarding incident response, I'd dig into their SLAs to see how quickly they promise to
We're out of
notify
time.
customers. Ideally, it should be within a very short time frame, like 24 hours of detection. I'd also want to see if they conduct regular penetration tests, and if so, I've requested recent reports and findings to understand the nature of vulnerabilities and how quickly they're addressed. By focusing on these specific details, we can really gauge their true security posture and preparedness.
We're out of time now. Thank you for your candor today. Your focus on specific controls is thorough, but I'm still not clear on how you prioritize those risks based on business impact, especially when faced with trade-offs or non-compliance. We need folks who can translate security risks directly into business language and influence decisions rather than just report on compliance. We'll be in touch about next steps.
Thank you so much for the feedback and for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I absolutely understand the importance of aligning security with business impact, and I'll be more than happy to dive deeper into that in the future. Thanks again, and I look forward to the next steps.
All right, there you go, people. Like I said, that's pretty spot on. Like I said, I made the AI where you kind of strict, kind of vague, so people can get used to really talking and going into detail and to what the person is asking and figuring out like what they want and not be so vague, general or whatever. But yeah, so in most interviews I've been into, they like this. If you don't take control of the interview and come in there and ask what they looking for and get what's they pain points and they pressure points and stuff, they'll be kind of like next question, this and that. And all right, that concludes the interview. Thank you for your time. Yeah, we'll be in touch with you. Like I said, now the other candidates they may do better or worse than this guy. Whatever. Don't take none of this stuff serious. Just go on to the next interview. And anytime I do interviews, I really forget it. Like it's out of sight, out of mind, and don't care if they call me back or do call me back. And it's all a learning process. Like I said, and but yeah, it's kind of like this in the real world. This kind of work. They're gonna ask you. They're gonna be interrupting you. They might have two, three people in there talking. They might try to drill you to death. Like I said, so this app, I designed this app so people can get used to that and not freeze up and know how to handle people, whether they good, nice, whatever. But yeah, people got any questions, just let me know. Holler at me, DM and text me either on LinkedIn or you can text me out in the school, trade school. But yeah, holler at me.